It's been reported today that calamity goalie André Onana could pull out of the African Cup of Nations to save his United career. Crikey, is it that bad? Is it that extreme now? The Cameroonian is concerned that if he plays in the competition, he could lose his place as first choice at the club. He's likely to be called up to Cameroon for the tournament in January and could miss 4 Premier League matches. By the way, keep forgetting about that, don't we?
You always forget about that.
Coming up.
I don't know what sort of clubs. We'll have to look at what clubs have got lots of players going to the African nations.
What about your boys, Arsenal? Have they got a few?
Well, you would have had. Who have you had? Not many, have they?
I don't think so. City have got 1 or 2, haven't they?
Partey.
Liverpool. Salah.
Yeah, well, that's the big one.
Yeah,
that's the big one for any club. But yeah, people forget it's coming round, and you know, if you do lose key players in certain positions, then it can really affect the club. I'm sure clubs look at it when they sign players now and say, look, we're going to lose.
You have to
for a month.
With the amount of money's about at the moment, what you're having to pay, you have to look at that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ray, should they persist with Onana? Is it that bad that they're now thinking, hold on a minute?
It's a really difficult one. I mean, there are some great goalkeepers over the years, haven't they, Manchester United?
Yeah.
I'm going back to my era. Schmeichel was probably the best.
Fantastic.
He was the best. Then, obviously, David De Gea was brilliant as well. He had spells where he was different class. So it's always difficult as keepers because, you know, you're just as important as a striker because you're the one who could keep you in a game. Certain periods of the game when you're up against it and you can make 2 or 3 great saves, and then your striker goes and scores you a goal, then you win the game. So he has made mistakes, but I think they will stay with him at the moment, and that'll be a big decision from him to say, look, I'm going to stick here and really try and play well, and that'll be it then.
Okay, join us now for more on this as United Stand presenter Beth Tucker. Beth, a very good morning.
Morning to you
Beth.
guys. Morning to you guys.
What do you think, Beth? Are we getting to the stage now where United have got to seriously think, look, he's not as good as we thought he may be? It may be time for a change?
I mean, it is still early days, but from what we've seen so far, it is very, very worrying. I'm not going to lie. It's got to the point now where this sounds really bad to say, but I'm quite looking forward to AFCON just to see what the other keepers like, because I was an advocate of getting Onana in. Obviously, I don't think you can be a bad keeper and get over 10 clean sheets in the Champions League last year, have a brilliant performance in a Champions League final against the best team in the world in Manchester City, and suddenly just become a really poor keeper. But it is really worrying so far. Like the basics of goalkeeping, he looks really nervous at them. It just doesn't look like an experienced top-level goalkeeper in any way right now. So it's worrying, and it's a big decision for Erik ten Hag, but I think for the moment it's a little bit too early to write him off, but it has been bad.
The thing about it is, Beth, is if you're going to be successful, if you're going to compete for trophies, you always got to have a top-class goalkeeper. I'm going back to my era, David Seaman, we had Jens Lehmann come in. You know, look at Liverpool now, Alisson, you've got Edison at Man City. If you've got to have a top-class goalkeeper. And Manchester United, over the years, we mentioned, you have Schmeichel and people like that. So the problem is, if you haven't got a big character, you know, and you are struggling, it's really difficult as a goalkeeper. They're different sort of animals, aren't they, to players? You've got to be a little bit more fearless, haven't you, as a goalkeeper?
Most of them are mad.
Yeah, absolutely. Most are mad. And is he mad enough?
Well, the thing is, I think he is mad enough. Like we've seen, he's got the he's eccentric, like a lot of goalkeepers are. We saw it in pre-season. We've seen it across the season. But he's just been making way too many mistakes. Don't get me wrong; he's had a couple of good games as well. But the bad has massively outweighed the good. And like you said, you are in need of a top-level goalkeeper. Do I think it means a lot of people saying, we shouldn't have got rid of David De Gea. David De Gea was absolutely excellent in some of his years at Manchester United, but towards the end, I think people forgetting he cost us games as much as the next person as well. Like Europa League last year, also in the FA Cup final. He's had some brilliant games which Onana hasn't had, which kind of balances it out. But it is early days for this keeper. But when Pep Guardiola got rid of Joe Hart and brought in Bravo, did he backtrack and go and get Joe Hart back. No, he didn't. He went and got another goalkeeper. He admitted Bravo maybe wasn't good enough. Went and got another goalkeeper who fits his philosophy still in Edison.
Fantastic,
and he's
yeah.
Not looked back ever since. So we'll have to wait and see.
So Beth, listen, United, they're racking up the wins now. Disappointment in Galatasaray with that lead and conceding it. But what a game against Newcastle coming up. You got to be excited about that.
I mean, it doesn't feel like we're racking up the wins because the performances haven't been good enough. I mean, that's me being brutally honest. It's good to get points on the board, obviously, in the Premier League, but realistically, let's look at the opposition we've played. Like, no disrespect to these teams, but Luton is one of them. I mean, Everton, again, we're doing well, but they are in the relegation zone because obviously they had the 10-point reduction. We've not really played, the top teams in the Premier League. I'm very worried going into this fixture list of Newcastle, Chelsea at home, Anfield away, Aston Villa. Like, they're really tough games. And if you look at the performances Man United have had, I think we might get caught out in these next few fixtures because for me, we just haven't been at that level. But Newcastle away, I am very, very worried. I feel like I'm saying this every week, but it's another make or break game for Erik Ten Hag because United in this game, we have the capability to take a battering. We also have a capability to go there and show some character after the draw midweek against Galatasaray and keep turning the season around. So it can go one way or the other. But Newcastle are brilliant at St James's Park, so it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah. Beth, do you think Ten Hag will be looking at this January transfer window? We don't know what's going to happen with Sancho, what the situation's going to be, whether he's going to apologise or not, we don't know. But where is he looking in a team where he thinks, well, we need a couple of more players here?
I mean, we absolutely have to go in the January transfer window. I think there's no questions about it. Whether we will is another thing because the ownership of Manchester United, I know Sir Jim's coming in, so it might be a little bit different. But the Glazers in the past have wrote off the January transfer window. United have really never invested heavily in it. The last one I can remember was Bruno Fernandes, and that was because Ollie was on the brink and we needed top four badly. We rarely invest in January, but if we do, Sancho has to go. That situation can't keep continuing. It's a bad look on the club, and it just keeps like a bad atmosphere around the club. He has to go. But then when you look at bringing players in, I think we massively need another defender. I even think right back's a situation where we should be looking. And then you look to the midfield as well, which is weird because we bought Mason Mount and Amrabat in the summer. But you look at the midfield and you still could think, Man United need a top-class number 8. So, and again, Højlund, even though he's doing really well in the Champions League, only young, 20 years old, not got a Premier League goal yet. Yes, Man United don't create the most service for the striker, which I feel like is a little bit about it. But I think he needs someone maybe a little bit more experienced in there to help him out a little bit. So even an experienced striker, I'd absolutely love. If Man United were serious, I feel like they should go and get Ivan Toney in January. But we're not serious from what I've seen in the past. So
there's going to be a queue.
Hopefully not, Beth.
Yeah, he wants him at
I want him at Arsenal.
Beth,
yeah, that's the unreal signing for you.
Enjoy the game in Newcastle, Beth. It's going to be a cracker. Thank you, Beth Tucker. There,
thank you.
United
Just
stand
quickly,
presenter.
Are you amazed by Sancho? But if I'm a player and the manager's saying it's so easy to go and apologise, I say, look, maybe I was in the wrong.
No, I know.
Can you put me back in that
I've
squad?
heard both sides of it, and he looks. It's
the
very easy to say he
I'm
looks a
going by
spoilt brat, but I've also heard the other side of it, that he has been working hard and he's just been blank.
I can imagine
so
Jules
I
Graham.
don't know.
Imagine Jules Graham when I was manager as a youngster and I didn't go say sorry about certain things. You wouldn't be in the team either.
No.
So you just got to sometimes bite your lip and say, look, this is my Manchester United career at stake here.
Football, I think players now have so much power.
Yeah, they've got power, yeah.
So much power now. Yeah. Don't forget, talkSPORT brings you live and exclusive commentary of that cracker, St James's Park. Newcastle against Man United in the Premier League tomorrow.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.